One Owner Car Guy, oneownercarguy.com. This here is going to be a buffing video on El Pinto. El Pinto? Maybe La Pinto, huh? I don't know how that all goes. But, got our buffer. Got the cord. Richard's inside rebuilding the DeWalt. So we'll have a real buffer soon. This is a nice car. The paint is pretty shot, I guess you'd say, on one end. A trick on your cord. Always tie these things in a knot. What kind of knot? I don't know. I was a Boy Scout, but, well, I don't remember all my knots. I know that I do it like that, and it works great. It won't come unplugged. This paint is pretty shot. A little moisture on it from the morning. Won't hurt what we're doing. Cracked, miscellaneous stuff like that. It's rough on the surface. I believe it's the original paint. And not only that, I believe that this here is like painted pot metal, which is very interesting. I thought that it would be like the Trans Am type material, but it's a pot metal type material that's painted. Just a little corrosion here. Same thing on the sides. Now, one thing about this car is the guy did paint the roof, and he used the best paint roller and paintbrush that Home Depot had, and it looks decent for what it is. He was probably just keeping rust away and doing maintenance. This thing around the windows, around the trim, all the car's complete. It's all here. It's just absolutely amazing. Even the surrounds for the light and everything. All the original little hubcaps. These pieces, if this was a Cadillac, these pieces would be rotted out 15, 20 years ago. Probably on a Pinto too. It's actually amazing that the car is in this type of shape. And this is a buffing video, and I am going to buff it and show a bit of that, but I also wanted to show just how nice this, you hear how nice that opened? Look at, these are in great shape. It actually still has the button ends for the original factory carpet, which is still attached to the seat and the whole deal. The seat folds down, of course. It's in great shape. All the rubber surrounds are in great shape around the windows. This stuff's in good shape. The headliner's gone. I just took it out. Me and Kevin did yesterday, and Richard, we were all working on it. This was a headliner task. Beautiful color on the headliner, especially with that car. It is just too cool. Pretty 70s. Okay, so that's the quick walk around of what we're buffing, and at the same time, this is going to be a really easy little buff. Look at that back seat, just beautiful. I was going to have the front seats redone. Look at there, he stitched that in there on the lumbar support where he sat the most. You got to watch these guys that take the keys out and just put them anywhere. Okay. Excuse me. It's probably a lot louder on Google Glass. Okay, this is a pad we've used before, and you can see everything flying off of it. I hate these stupid electronic triggers. I want a damn trigger. It's the way these things are supposed to go. Get your wrench. You can get a spurring tool, whatever it is, and clean your pad. You can see everything flying off of it there. I usually support it on my leg, and don't hit your nuts. That won't be fun. I hate these stupid electronic triggers. This is one thing that electronics did not make better. Now this thing is going to be nice as can be. You're still going to have some dust in it. It's been used. I hear the real one going. It ain't going too fast though, is it? It ain't going really good, is it? Oh, really? Well, I'm going to go ahead and use this one still. But he's got the DeWalt going. I hear my baby in here, and this thing... Oh, man! Woo, that's a real buffer. Them brushes are about to go, huh?
Yeah.
I can smell them. I don't even know if we'd make it through a car. We might make it through a car. And the smell, it smells good. It smells like electrical fire, man. Okay, so I've got my waxy wax mixed up. Kevin's here, and he's going to be doing a lot of buffing and stuff. Kevin and Richard are helping out a lot around here. They're working here, and they are Mercedes not only enthusiasts, but they know a lot about them. And that could come in really handy around here, because we definitely like the Mercedes. Okay, what is this going to do to this car? Honestly, I don't know. We're going to find out. We got a razor blade?
Yeah.
But one time I don't have my pocket knife with me. This one's dusty. We're going to clean it up. But this should come out decent. We shall see. I know it's going to put a shine to it. And this is just going to be a quick buff. This isn't like, this is your Ferrari Testarossa and we're doing a buff to make it whatever with our dual action, triple action thing. No. This is just a quick buff on a car that is not in the best shape, and we're just kind of preserving and showing what we have here. I cut off a little bit too much there for my use, but this is a wool pad, and you're always going to want to start off with the wool. You're going to want to smear this stuff around on there. That's what she said. And the main thing right now at this point, since you're just starting on your first panel, is getting it all over your wool pad. That is the main thing. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. Okay, there should be enough on here to keep some lubricant in between. You gotta watch ridges. And I like to start off the buffer while you're on the surface. This is going to take some of the paint off. It's easier if you throw your cord up over your shoulder and apply some pressure. It's all about putting the pressure in it and how much it'll take too. Also watch this ridge. I like to go on one side of them only. And I went up and down this thing every way. You're going to want to hit the other edge of this edge, if that makes any sense to you. Now, I ain't got enough power going on here. And being this is the first panel, it is going to be a little bit drier than normal. And I'm going to get into this fender at the same time. You want to work in about, depending on the temperature, maybe 1 to 3 square foot sections. If it's hot out, you might, and depending on the paint, you might be down to a 1 foot. But that's pretty rare. You're going to work with mainly a 2, 3, 4 square foot area. Same thing on this corner. Grind into it a bit and push into it, but don't roll over it yet. And anywhere there is a corner, be careful because these buffers will take the paint right off. If you throw a moving buffer down onto that, it's going to squirt it everywhere. All over you. And you're going to get all buffed up by the end of the day anyway, so it don't matter. But okay, we went up and down. Now I always like to go both ways. You have a clean rag? Terry cloth. Now I've taken a little longer on this simply because I'm showing, but this is a mixture to where it's going to be a little bit of really gritty polish and a bit of silicones and waxes in there as well. So it's going to grind it a bit and it's going to shine it a bit, so you are going to get a little hazing with what I'm using. Usually after body work, we don't use no waxes and you won't get any hazing. So, we've done the flat edges. I like to keep things wet, that's what she said, but you don't need much on this stuff since we've already bit into it. Now, this is going to be a pain, but that's life. And I'm going to finish this part and then shoot this half of the hood down. And I don't want to put any there yet because it will start drying. So, here we go with this fender. I'm going to kind of deck this portion of the car out, and then we're going to let somebody who's never buffed before buff. Oh, yeah. And anybody should be able to do this. It is daunting on some cars. No, I would not want my first car to be my W140 because you will burn the paint somewhere, you will cause a problem somewhere, and it's a learning process. You got to find some idiot who will put you on some car like this to buff to learn how to do this properly, or take the chance, man, and just do it. So, another thing I should mention is most of the time, you're going to want to keep your pressure centralized there, right in that middle sweet spot. So even when you're rolling over edges and stuff with your buffer, and I'm rolling a little bit extreme there, try to keep it focused on the middle, especially here. And I'll say something about the real edges in a second. It's going to be interesting. This is quite a logo. Now, you've also got dents that happen when you drop your thing. You're not careful, but trim here, and you can tape it all off. But if you get your wax off pretty quick, it should be okay. Okay, here we go. It can get tricky around wheel wells because the curves come and go really quick. I like to do the wheel wells like that. And then you're going to want to get in here like this. Now this is very tricky to do, so be careful. It can fall off like that and throw things in your eyes quicker than you could even imagine. And you can also scratch your paint up very easy when using the edges. So, when you get to an edge like this though, I like to let it roll over that thing really quick and just keep the edge on it. And I'm letting the buffer pick itself up as it goes over a bit, and I'm pushing down a little bit at the same time. So I only want pressure on that part right there. It's an acquired thing. No matter what you do on a car like this, it will take a little paint off. The reason for this over your shoulder is this will wrap it up, tear it out of your hands, and mess you up fast. There's other areas where that'll work also. Just be careful anytime you're doing it. And yes, I do the chrome, the metal, and everything. There's no reason not to. I didn't even notice that when you brought that to me. This ain't terry cloth. It's microfiber. And you're going to want to use terry cloth on this kind of stuff mostly. But that looks a lot better. It's a huge difference. And if you've got a car that you think is worth something, or you think is nice, I'm telling you what, there's night and day comparison between this and this. That's all there is to it. I mean, it's faded versus nice. That's all there is to it. I'm going to take some befores maybe, because I'm telling you what, I had people tell me, you're an idiot, you shouldn't buff that. You know what? Screw you, it's mine, I'm buffing it. How's that? Okay, I am going to finish this out. You want to watch antennas. They are one of the... You think that'll just pop back up? Oh, you did? See, he knows on this. That is on that year. What year is it? 95?
95.
That's a phone antenna. The actual radio antenna's in the bumper. And all sorts of, like, weird Jeopardy questions like that, Richard knows the answer to. And that's neat to know around here, because we got lots of weird Mercedes. Okay. I've only got this little chunk up here left, and I'm wanting to get into that hood. So, watch windshield wipers and everything. Not only will it scare the piss out of you, you could get hurt. Okay. Now that's way too big of an area to work with at one time, especially when I'm going to do this. However, and at this point, it is pretty easy to pop them windshield wiper blades off. The whole things. Yeah, get the little wrench and do it to it. We may do that before I get up in there. So even though you got all the wax on it, you don't have to do it all. You can leave that set for a couple minutes and get into this. Anytime you got grills, vents like this, make sure you spread the stuff out, because it's going to be a pain and it's going to get in it. I'm only going for half. Here we go. And if you remember right, I didn't do this corner. And same thing, just let it kind of float on it. And on this one, I use the edge. Another thing I want to mention, if you pick it up, it's going to start going faster. If you put it back down and set it into it, you're going to have a problem. It's nice to just start over with it on the surface sometimes. Now, when you get to an edge like this, it's nice to be going fast, and then you can drop the butt of it into it just a little bit like that and keep your pressure on there. It's very important to know when you've got this thing on the paint where your pressure is, though, and pay attention relative to the surface that you're buffing on. That makes sense, right?
Very sense.
Okay. Because I explain things sometimes and I'm like, did that make sense? Hoping so. Okay, so we got it all over this and up in here. Can you go to that side and just hold this? Because I'm not going to take the time to remove them. Just like that. Same thing over these. And anytime it jumps like that, anything that's bubbled could come right off. That's good. That's all I can get in there. Be very careful doing it one-handed. It will throw it at you, especially if you're going fast. It's always better to spread this stuff on here than it is just to buff into it. Plain and simple. Okay, now you got like 3 curves going on. Still an easy deal. Now on this kind of a surface, I'm letting it drop down, and then I'm pushing back up, and you're going from pressure here to pressure here, and you're just kind of rolling it back up. It's important not to let this part kick onto here though, or it'll just scuff across it. So kind of just let it roll up and keep even pressure right here. I'm put so much pressure on my buffer that I have to tighten my handles time to time. This was tight when we started. Won't be tight long if you're using this buffer right, especially a cheap ass one like this. Harbor Freight, 39 bucks, probably get you through 10 cars. Don't get the one with this stupid trigger. And yes, I'm very emotional about that. Be careful going over that kind of stuff, because you could flip it right off on something this old. And for me, I will do this pot metal just like anything else. Actually, look at that. Woo, buddy. It's a DeLorean. Johnny Carson, there you go, buddy. Look at that. Wow, I would have never expected that. Never expected that. Something like that happens, you gotta finish it. Okay. Keep it out of the dirt as much as you can. You can see I'm all hazed up here. The kind of buffing I'm used to and doing body work and stuff, I hate a product that hazes. I don't like the wax. I like to have it nice and painted and all that, but the kind of work I'm doing, it requires a mixture. Simply because, well, one reason is we want to do this in one step. We don't want a 3-stage our old 74 Pinto that needs paint. Because make no mistake about it, this car, look at that! This car needs paint. But you can be proud of what you have in the meantime and make yourself feel good about your car by doing this to it. Because I'll tell you what, just the feel of running this rag over it right now makes me feel like I just did some shit. That's all there is to it. And yes, I dropped an F-bomb or whatever you want to say. So what? Okay. That's that. Hopefully you can tell on Google Glass the way the day is going. With the sun in my eyes, I can't tell what you're seeing, but I can see that there's a night and day difference. That's all there is to it. So I'll give you another view here. Look at that. How could you sell a car without doing, this is gonna take start to finish. If I wasn't talking and showing, if I just got on this car and buffed it, I can tell right now I've done a 23-minute video, but I went over here and over there and everywhere. Essentially, in under an hour and a half, between an hour to hour and a half is what it should take on this car in a wash. Let's say 2 hours total, and the difference, night and day. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit more stuff here, some more type of tip type things. I don't know what it all turned out as. Then we're gonna let Kevin loose on the other side, and it sure as hell better look better than this side. Cool stuff. And that's that. Small word about bumpers, windows, stuff like that. I guess it depends on your car and the person doing it. This piece right here, it could blow apart. And that is the bad thing you're dealing with. This stuff here, it ain't gonna blow apart. It's freaking chrome. You just don't want to get into that black plastic too much. So, same thing. Just like a butt, wipe it. And get it on there. And now this is going to be drier. And we got a grill here to contend with. This is going to be very interesting. And you got a curve on it, as you can see right there. And I just lifted that up, and you can hear it speed up. And I'm going to get it back down to a manageable level before I touch it again. And just because of what fits in here, I'm kind of rubbing with the edge. Now this is where it's going to grind back at you. It's getting sucked up in between there, and so it's really going to grab. I'm telling you, I can't stress enough keeping this cord up. It'll keep it from kerblamming. Now this is taking rust and everything else off, by the way. And you want some RPMs here. This is a good way to kill your buffer. And another thing, you gotta really, I said it, but you gotta really watch out for that plastic piece. You don't want to hit it that much. This stuff can all be done by hand with mothers, but if a person's careful, it can be done with this just as easy. Okay, something got stuck on there, and I'm going to stop it. Okay, I tore a piece of this off. Not really cool. But that should stop it from throwing any more of it. Now your chrome can handle a lot more RPM than your paint, by the way. And that's that. The one part that I haven't been able to get yet is that right there. And even if you have safety goggles, and you should, keep your eyes on this side of the buffer, not that side. I hope that makes sense to everybody watching. This is a dangerous job. That's all there is to it. And you have to be aware and have your wits about you. And there's a good for instance for you. I burned a spot in the paint. So on this other side, make sure you know the way this drops off, and this comes together, you can't get that down in there because this piece makes you dig in instead of go over. So, not the end of the world. But that is the deal. Now with this chrome, let's look at it, let's compare it. Let's see what we've done. Yes, mothers will probably give you a slightly better look, but that is as polished as it's going to get, really and truly. It really is. And we're comparing this to that. So, that's your halfer job, besides that little chunk. I'm going to put a Montana muscle plate on the front. Look at this, man. I'm telling you, a 74 Pinto that the little plastic clips aren't even broken on yet. I'm telling you what, this is something else, and I don't even want us to have to screw into them things. I might put duct tape along the back of it or something, because I don't want to be the one to break them. That's the coolest thing I've seen on an old car in a long time. This old boy took care of it, and you know what? The mileage and stuff on it, I would not doubt. This is original miles of 85,000. I am 99% sure. 99? Okay, look at, come on! That's closing like a 74 Mercedes, man. That sounds so, and you don't have to hardly, it just falls shut. I mean, if it wasn't a Pinto, this car would get so much respect as being a survivor, it's pitiful. If this was a 74, let's say, Caprice with a 454 or something, people would be like, oh, that's such a survivor! But it's a Pinto, so it's just a Pinto. Okay, before I get out of here, I'm going to show you two more things. One is, this roof has been painted, and I did touch it here. I'm telling you what, this roof is going to amaze you. I don't know what kind of paint he used, so I don't know exactly how this is going to turn out. But we will know soon. When doing these cars, as long as you don't throw it everywhere, it is very nice to just go ahead and do the windows. Plain and simple. This also keeps it from rubbing on your car if you have it up over your shoulder like that. I don't want to get this all over, and I don't want to touch that. So I'll do the bottom first while Kevin's holding it. This will get rid of water spots, and it'll just make your life easier on doing windows. Let me put it that way. Little pittage from rock chip pittage, where it's not exactly a chip, but there might be an uneven spot in the window. And windows are pretty much like chrome. You can put a lot of pressure on them, but if there is a fracture or a crack in it, you could send it further. Okay, I would not dig into this with that thing spinning at all, but I'll tell you what, I am very interested, and I'm going to keep it at a lower RPM than usual. Yeah, this is going to be something else. But like I say, it was a different kind of thing here, and we don't know what could happen. It could all come off. And I'm not lying, this could all come off. So I'm going to keep it at 1500 for now, which is very low. And it wants to jump around at that. And it's because it's biting into the paint. Now right now, I know I've said a lot about pressure, but this is the exact opposite, and you don't want to put a lot of pressure. I'm kind of letting the buffer do most of the work here, because I almost guarantee when I pick this bad boy up, it's going to have yellow paint all over the buffer wheel. And not a little bit. Honestly, I could take all this yellow paint off right now if I wanted to. I'm just letting the buffer do all the work. And this is why I hate stuff that hazes, is because if this wasn't hazing, I could see exactly what I was doing, but I don't want to buff this car 3 times. So, that's what we got. And yes, even though it was black before, you are seeing plenty of yellow, and it's from this, not that. That was coming up black, but I think he borrowed this from the government, from the school bus. Actually, you know what? For doing he must have sanded it, because I'll tell you what, check this out. Look at how smooth that is. It is so smooth for what we're dealing with here. There's orange peel back in here, but I mean, I straight up see brush marks. The guy either rolled it or brushed it, but he must have sanded it after, because that right there looks pretty damn good, besides the run and the pits and, well, you know, all the general stuff like that. But there you go. That is the front quadrant of the car. Definitely interesting. Definitely a difference on that top. Hey Richard, look at this.
Oh wow.
You see the top?
Oh.
I think it's school bus yellow or something, man. But look from the front, dude. I mean, that
looks a lot better.
To me, that adds it. If you're going to sell something, that just looks a lot better. But check out the website, oneownercarguy.com. I'm going to check out the Santana he's working on and get started on some of these. Lots of cars coming up. Thanks for watching. Check out the videos on YouTube. Subscribe. Add me on Instagram. Instagram.com/Serial Marshmallows and Facebook.com/Nathan Wratislaw. NATHAN WRATISLAW. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you. Where I am and I work on the computer, I can hear in my speakers the buffer go, wee. So then when I don't hear it going, Whee! For a while I wondered what's going on. And sure enough, somebody wrapped it around their shoulder and it fell off. Not the end of the world. It's gonna happen. And just a good for instance, this is no joke, it rips the damn cord in half. And it gets it all wound up in here. Look, he messed this thing all up, man. He got it all burned up. It's gonna smell like a Snoop Dogg well, no, it won't. That's rubber. So that's the deal. Be careful. It can happen. I've done it. Anybody who's buffed something much has done it. And it's better to learn and beat the shit out of my cars with the buffer than your car. But definitely be careful. That's what can happen. Easy fix, but what a pain in the butt. And it can cause damage. Could tie your hand up there. Honestly, it's enough power if you're going at 4,000 RPM to rip your frickin' finger off, possibly. At least break a couple of them. And it's no joke. No joke. This is serious stuff. So, thanks for watching. Look at that car! God, that looks good. And look at this, man. This thing, I probably showed you that. I'm just kind of amazed that buffed out so good. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you. Okay, done with this car. He's done the wiping, the sweeping, the flapping, the flipping. Now you'll get a lot of people that tell you, oh, well, you're supposed to tape off all the black here, and you need to tape off this stuff and all that, and tape this off, and you got to tape off. You know what? We would spend more time. Vacuum. We'd spend more time taping on this thing than we spent buffing it. The one thing that would have been cool to take off real quick, and I thought about doing it, was these, because it is simple. Other than that, you just really don't want to take it. Man, I'll tell you, my other guy here that's been working, he talks to himself more than I do. He don't even have a parrot on his shoulder either. But it's kind of cool to hear somebody else talking to themselves on the lot. So, that's the deal. Kevin did a great job on this. And it's not essential to have it all wiped down at this point, because from this point here, we got a... Where's a rag? A rag we've been using to buff. And the wax. This stuff is very hard to do. Very hard. It's not exactly aluminum. It's not exactly chrome. It's not exactly pot metal. I don't know what the hell it is. What's the one we were using? This one? Or a different one? I don't want to keep... I ain't got many towels left right now. We're in a towel shortage.
Oh, here they are. There they are.
They're all yellow. They're all yellow. This stuff just does not shine like I wanted it to. But I just wanted to see if up here I could get it a little more. And you can, but not much. That's pretty good, much more. Pretty good, much more. Yep, this is my own kind of English. It's nowhere near English. Okay, well that's that. That is pretty much what we want to do on this. And now from this point here, I'm kind of done our buffing, done all this stuff. I'm not going to paint anything underneath this or anything. It's clean as can be, and I'm going to try and do this to where you can see, and I can keep my face straight instead of going all crooked. Clean as can be under here. All the car needs now is to be kind of scrubbed down and everything, and that's why. Whoa, is that an air shock? If you could find out for me what that wire hanging is, that'd be cool. Right by the back shock. Keys are gone. I threw them in here. Oh, there we go. And so another word about taping this stuff off. If you're not going to tape it off and you're going to go and just shotgun it like this and do it to it, that's fine, but get your water on it quick and get that done. If you don't get it washed quick, and you need a power washer. If you're going to do it like this and not tape stuff off, make sure and have a power washer, because you need to be able to spray it in the crevices and stuff, especially on something newer and nicer, maybe. Not newer, just nicer. Let's look at what we got here. It is nice looking. I'll tell you what, it's a totally different color. That's all there is to say to it. Totally different color. I can't see what you had seen then. You can scroll back. Man, It's nice. That's all there is to say about it. And I'm just using Google Glass for this one, since it is kind of a quickie video. Not using my camera. I've got it with me. I'm going to get some pictures of the Ferrari right now, and with the top down. So that's the deal. Looking great. Look at them caps, and oh man, nice car. And this thing is not a leaker. There's one little bitty hole right there in the trim in there. You can see it kind of bowed out. Probably not like I'm showing you now. Little weather stripping issue there. Not rusty. Non-rusty Pinto. Rare. That's all there is to say. Well, thanks for watching. That's the buffing video. Kind of a last tip for you. If you're not, and I kind of mentioned in the front of this video about not taping off all the trim. If you're not going to tape off all the trim, it's very important to wash it immediately after. Don't let the sun bake the stuff on. It'll create problems. I gotta sneeze. I've never sneezed. Excuse me, bless me. Something like that. With glass. I have now. Okay. You want to blow it. You want to get the power washer here and actually go and keep it the same distance away. Don't go like this or you'll get an uneven yucky yuck. But blow all these seams out afterwards. Get it all blown. And it's also going to do something for me. I blow these seams out like crazy, and that's why I know there's a tiny leak over there and one little piece that you can see right there. It needs a tiny little dab of silicone maybe. And that's it. And that's just on the two that open and close. Everything else, tight. I love having this windbreak on it. It's a rare package on this car, especially in a two-door. I think you would call it a runabout. I really do. I'm not 100%. I'm not even 95%. I'm 72%. Oh, for sure, 72%. Non-rusty Pinto. Call me up. OneOwnerCarGuy.com. 406-546-8748. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you.